welcome to episode 26 of BGCP Disassembled podcast, the official podcast of the Big Glasgow Comic Page, BigGlasgowComicPage.com, Big Glasgow Comic Con, all that good stuff. What's happening? This is a last minute podcast and we don't really know what we're talking about, but we're going to do it anyway. I'm Dan and I'm hosting for the second week in a row because apparently nobody else cares anymore and they've just left me at my own devices. And and I'm joined by the legend, the enigma that is Chris Jameson.
Oh, beautiful. I feel like a kebab that's sweated
Nice,
in
mate.
the bath all day. Like I'm just ready to be eaten. It's just
What's an image that is, man? You really paint a picture for the audio listeners, Chris, man. They'll have that image in their head. No, just
covered in chili sauce, ready.
Yeah, big scoot up your bum. Right. Because listen, like I said, who cares at this point? We're just going to kind of change things and do it back to front this week. We're going to do news first, and then we're going to do a kind of discussion on what we've been watching and that, and then we're going to do a quiz.
A wee cheeky quiz.
Why not?
Why not? Make it funky.
Aye. If that sounds like clickbait to you, then stick around, I guess. Don't know why it would.
No, it's not really clickbait.
Nah, it's not really, is it? See, here two fannies try to guess what the bad review is for a film, but we'll get there. Into the news, I'm not playing a theme tune because the theme tune is Zencaster doesn't work, so just imagine a theme tune, right?
There you go.
The first thing worth talking about was something that I posted on the website at the start of the week, and it was a report on the images that we got for the new Resident Evil film on Netflix. It's got a dumb title. It's called Resident Evil: Welcome to Raccoon City. Like, what? It's called Resident Evil, mate.
What you doing?
Just call it Resident Evil, but no the shite one with Mila Jovovich. You know what I mean? So we get some photos of the cast and their costumes. What'd you think, Chris?
Like, see, to be honest, man, I actually quite like the Resident Evil cart, like the animes they're doing it.
Really watched it, but aye.
They're actually quite interesting. They kind of feel like you're in Resident Evil 4 again, you know, in the cutscenes and stuff. It's kind of shitty, but also kind of good. I don't know, man. I thought it was kind of very indie. Like I didn't like Neon. Right. Neon didn't look like Neon.
You kind of tried to say this before we started, right? And I kind of didn't want to talk about it because I want to say one. I kind of agree with you. I kind of mean it. Kind of looks like cosplay. It doesn't look like
official stuff.
But my second point to that is maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's what they need.
Maybe,
see if you look at films like 10 Cloverfield Lane, which review website Cloverfield Lane, I don't know, man. I think sometimes it's better stripping it back, especially if you're going for like the early Resident Evil games weren't like that. I suppose the boss fights are quite extravagant, but like the meat of the game, it is just dark corridors and like.
Yeah, it's like that.
You know what I mean?
It's all tension, but it's not really not action filled.
So I don't know if you need like pure high budget like Mila Jovovich jumped through there in slow motion in a leather costume firing 2 guns at once. Like I don't think you need that. I mean, I think you can.
No, I think it's interesting when they're trying. I saw like from the first one, like I'm just looking at the images now. It kind of looks like they're merging together the two worlds, like the first Resi, and the second one with Leon, like Chris Redfield. I was like, okay, maybe they're going for the mansion and the police station.
Somehow. Well, it sort of makes sense because they obviously both of those games take place on the same night. So it does run at the same time, and obviously you've got one Redfield in one location, the other Redfield in another location. Going through, so the first image, right? We've got, I think it's Leon and Claire. It's fine. You know who they are based on.
It's fine.
Well, I think you know who they're meant to be based on the costumes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
As soon as you see them, you're like, all right, I don't need that.
There's a lot of folk complaining, oh, he's like Hispanic, he's not got blonde hair. It's like, aye, but who cares? Like,
I know.
Does it matter? I don't really care.
One thing I thought was really cool, like, he has the kind of shoulders, like you can see like he's got like white. I don't know why that thing, but white trainers on his arm or something. I don't know what it's called. Like wearing a long t-shirt underneath. And I was like, that's Leon. Like, I just know.
Like,
I just felt it's good. Like, I like it how it's
you
taken
need.
it in another direction.
He's like the right age. You need a young guy because it's like his first day in the job is also
First day,
part of
aye.
it. So,
Exactly. I do miss it. I thought he was going to be ginger. You know, in the very first game, I think he is ginger.
yeah, it's kind of ginger. They made him blood in the later games, but I kind of was
I
ginger
was
back
like,
then.
oh, bring the Scottishness into it, Leon. Like, you know, get the Irish blood in you. But
Aye,
I
and
get
then
where you're going.
the next photo, you get a look at Jill, Chris, and Albert Wesker, who's played by Tom Hopper for Umbrella Academy.
Oh, yes, yeah.
If you know the games, you know what direction Albert Wesker goes in. I really like the background in that shot. I think they've done the mansion.
They've done the
really
mansion
accurately.
really good, aye.
That entranceway is pure like nostalgic looking, and it's good set design.
The good thing that I just made that connection here. Like, you could potentially do something like what you do with, you know, in Daredevil when the hallway sequences. I mean, that's really action filled, but like, it's like Resident Evil was supposed to be replayable. You're going through the same sets constantly, and they might get boring in a film. But what about if you done it like something like Daredevil? Like, they done really close scenes, fucking amazingly.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that is battling zombies if they eat you, you're fucked. But like, I don't know how that would go. But
and then I think the third photo kind of shows you the tone of the film better than anything else because it is really quite a disturbing photo of Lisa Trevor.
Oh yeah.
It's very that photo, that design really reminds me of like Guillermo del Toro. Really reminds me of like Pan's Labyrinth and the first Hellboy and shit like that. Or what's that other one he did? Crimson Peak, the one that wasn't very good.
Crimson Peak.
Can reminds me of the design in those films. But I mean, obviously in the game, she kind of evolves to be more and more grotesque as it goes on. Like all the Resident Evil villains do, like they kind of mutate and become even more disgusting. So I think that would be cool to pull that off.
I can't remember the actual back. Hopefully they actually do, because there's actually a backstory towards her. I can't. She know like the daughter.
Yep.
Of
she was a daughter. She was experimented on or something. And
she was the first person.
It's kind of sad actually.
It's
messed up and cruel.
Like,
that's kind of what a lot of the early Resident Evil is. It's like how far does like mad science go and stuff like. I don't know, man. I know it's good. I mean, it's on Netflix, so we're all going to watch it. I mean,
when is it? Is it coming out? Has it got a date yet, or is it just?
It was pushed again earlier in the year. I reported on this on the website. It was pushed back, I think, to November. I think it's November this year. It was meant to be out like this month. It was like September, and then they pushed it back a couple of months because of COVID and that. But I'm pretty sure it's still this year.
That's good then. Get to see it at Christmas maybe.
There was. I don't know how much to say about this one. I don't know if you did. There was a Peacemaker poster for the show. It's literally just the back of a comic with John Cena's hand with the glove on, hanging at the back, giving the peace sign. And it says at the bottom DC fandom and then the date. So we'll probably get a trailer at fandom, but the posters don't really say that much.
No, I'm like, see, after watching Suicide Squad, I'm actually kind of interested in seeing how that would be developed, because at the end of Suicide Squad, you kind of hate the guy. Like at this point, you're like, I don't want to watch him.
That's that's totally what I got. Like going in, right? Because obviously I knew that we were getting a Peacemaker show before I saw the film, and then. And I was kind of like, I like John Cena, man. I like James Gunn. This could be interesting. And then by the end, I was like, I don't know what to say anymore. That guy, like scumbag. But as you said, I think they'll kind of give you a reason to like be invested. You know what I mean?
Do you think they'll go like deeper into like the lore of it? Do you think this is the way they're going to try and introduce the whole universe thing? Or
I read James Gunn get asked about doing another Suicide Squad film, and he said if he was to do that, if he was to write a Suicide Squad sequel, it would actually be a sequel to Peacemaker, because in his mind, Peacemaker is a sequel to the Suicide Squad film. So
wow.
So basically, it's really confusing at this point. If you're going to watch them, does the David Ayer one count as the first one? So you need to watch that, and then
that's one we just don't talk about.
And then you watch.
Sleep that
but James Gunn's one was a sequel because you had the same Captain Boomerang and the same Harley Quinn and stuff. So you watch that and you go, "What was all that?" And then you watch James Gunn one, and then if you like James Gunn, I'm sure you'll like that. But I didn't really.
Do you think that Jai Courtney, like the Captain Boomerang, regretted him dying in the beginning? He was like, or Jake, he just wrote his contract. I want to get killed off. This movie didn't do well, like, because he could have been really successful.
The one thing that did kind of like I wasn't like gutted to see any of the characters in the James Gunn one get killed off or anything. But the one part of the David Ayer film that I liked was his Captain Boomerang. I thought he was quite funny in
he
it.
was good.
So when he killed off at the start of James Gunn, I was like, oh, that's a shame. No way to say more of him. But I don't know.
He probably thought it was going to bomb again. Like he was like, "There's no chance."
I don't know, but I did bomb, to be fair, financially. Done well critically, but it didn't make any money.
No.
But I don't know. With that film, I don't know if obviously at the start they were going for like the shock that look at all these characters and we're killing them all off, but I don't know if that outweighed. Like I don't know if it was worth the shock. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if I'd rather just seen Jai Courtney in the film, but I don't care. Like it's a James Gunn film. Do you know what I mean? They're all the same. Like who cares?
No, I know.
So the next thing that we saw a bit of was the Dead Space remake. IGN kind of did not a deep dive, but a kind of brief look.
It was like an early development one.
Aye, it is. It's very early development. Like I kind of like this when they're honest like this. When companies are like, listen, come and see what we're doing, but there's no much to show you. But what we've got, we'll show you. Do you know what I mean? And it's like 2 corridors and a character model,
Exactly.
And it looks quality, but that's what they're doing. Like I kind of like that because it gives you an idea. I don't know, man. I've always hated how like close to the chest game studios are. Like Marvel films are totally different. Like we know what Marvel films we're getting for the next 10 years. We don't even know when we're getting the next Silent Hill, for example. We don't know when we're getting the next. Like, do you know what I mean? There's so many games that you don't know when they're coming. And like, I don't know. And like Assassin's Creed, you don't even know when it's going to be until a year before and stuff like that. So I like when studios like us open the door and be like, come have a look, see what we're working on. This is what we've got so far. And it gives you an idea, like, you're like, oh, well, this looks great, but it's clearly not finished. So we know we need to wait a good few years to play it. And it kind of gives you an idea for all that rather than being pure secretive. And then you're like, is it going to come out tomorrow? Is it going to come out 5 years? Like, you don't know.
See, that's one thing. Like, I always think it's going to be scary with game developers because they get the gamers and even me, as I'm like a casual gamer now, you get judged so easily. Like, see, like, and sometimes the marketing can be misleading. So I appreciate like they're actually diving in and saying, like, see Cyberpunk stuff when that was coming out, that was supposed to be amazing. Like, it was a revolutionary thing. No bugs, nothing. As soon as it launched, a fuck fest.
Cyberpunk review on the website. You can see my thoughts on that in detail. But
I like it. I thought it was a good start with Dead Space. I just thought they would have went in a different direction. Like in the sense they're just rehashing the first game. I loved Dead Space so much. It was one of my first horror games. I've really shat myself at. So like it's like one of those ones where you're scared, really scared to go down a corridor.
Well, the reason I love that first Dead Space so much, it is just like the early Resident Evil games on a spaceship. That's basically what it is.
Exactly.
And I think that first game's a masterpiece. And honestly, like you might think, oh, it's a rehash, but I don't care, mate. I'm buzzing. It's one of my favourite games, so see if you just want to remake it, go for it. I'll buy that shit again. I'll play it again. I'll enjoy it.
See, even like I just appreciated this fog in the back of the scene. You can see the fog in the background. I was like, my god, this is going to be amazing.
Like obviously, I mean, there's a photo comparison I've got up there now, and it's like the original one compared to the new one. Obviously, as you're saying, there's small things like texture improvements and things like that, but the lighting and it adds so much more atmosphere, and I think it'll be I think it'll be totally worth the kind of upgrade.
Do you think it would be? Oh, I don't think so because it's third person. But I was like, would it be like? Could you potentially be like an immersive experience? I think that would be more terrifying.
What, like a VR experience?
A VR, aye. Like, or do you think that would just it might come out? But
I'm going to say something kind of I don't know if it's controversial, but I don't know. I don't know if VR horror works.
Does it no?
I love horror and I'm into VR, right? And when the VR first came out, the stuff that I played, like the demos, the shark demo and things, I was thinking that. I was like, I can imagine a horror game of this. It'd be incredible. It'd be so creepy. You'd be in the house, you'd hear all these noises, it'd be amazing. But then I played Resident Evil 7 in VR, and that's one of the only games, like there is other horror VR games that last like an hour or 2 hours. I say games are like short experiences. Resident Evil 7 takes you about, I don't know, 9 hours to play through. And see for that amount of time, for me the scariness wore off. Like have you played Resident Evil 7?
Yep.
So see how in the intro you go into the house and you get your arm cut off, and what's the bird's name? Whatever the lass's name is, and she's like screaming in your face, and then
Is that
kinda,
Resident Evil 7 is the one with the Baker family, not the
yeah,
village?
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And then you wake up at the dinner table with all them,
Yeah.
and then the dad starts chasing you, right? So all that, but see, by the end of that sequence, like the dad comes through the wall, I wasn't scared anymore. I was more just kind of sick of people shouting in my face. Like when you're in VR, like, it's no nice to have somebody shout your face in real life. So see, when you're in VR, it's just, what are you doing? You're like, that's the thing. The first couple of times, you're like, oh, and then see after like the fifth time, you're like, this is, it just started to annoy me, and I'm like, I don't know if this works. I don't know, man. Maybe that's like, not everybody agree with that, and I know that obviously not all horror games is people screaming in your face, but I don't know, man. I just it was more annoying than it was scary playing Resident Evil 7 in VR.
Because I think what Dead Space really done was like when you play Resident Evil 4 and then when 5 came out, it was an action packed thing. I think Dead Space came out between Resi 5 maybe or something like that, so it was like a complete different experience. Like it's like that was horror where you can do action, but really you're just really walking down corridors and seeing the enemies walk in front of you, and you don't know if they're coming charging at you or no. Like I think that was one of the most scariest things of it. And plus, when you couldn't move when you shoot as well, so it does go back to what you were saying about like standing still, and you're like, oh,
that's something that was really clever in the Resident Evil 2 remake. I went for the platinum because I'm a pure sadak like that. Because the platinum that game's brutal. And one of the trophies you can't take. I think it's a maximum of 14,000 steps you're allowed to take through the whole game.
Oh my god!
So like obviously in the original, like you're saying, you couldn't move while you shot. You had to stop and shoot. Whereas in the remake, you can move while you shoot. But if you're going for this trophy, you can't, because you can't use up your steps. So it's taking you back to that old experience. You actually have to think about, right, I position myself here because I'm this far away from the liquor, so I can put so many bullets into him, and then when the big guy comes through the wall, I can run to the next part of the game without going the long way and using up too many steps. So you start thinking like that when you're playing it, and it really does kind of makes you appreciate the layout and the environment of that game on a new level.
See, one thing I think that what made Resident Evil Remake so good was it didn't, like, see in the original when you open doors, and it obviously because it's PS1, it had to have like brakes to load the next level. See, it didn't. Would that happen with Dead Space where you go on the trains, and then that makes it even more of a continuous thing?
It probably would, because
might be shorter times as well.
Spider-Man Miles Morales, if you play that on PS4, you've still got the subway car ride, when you stand in the subway. Whereas you play it in PS5, that's not in it. You go right there because it's an SSD. So I think that would be cut out probably.
Because that's one thing I would say is lacks the replayability in Space, because
totally.
Yeah, it's quite long, but also it's so many different levels.
That era for gaming, like that, and was it Gears of War and games like that around that time, there was a lot of elevator rides that you had to You're clearly loading the next level here, but not telling. It's not a loading screen, but you're in a loading screen.
It's smart.
There was a lot of that at that time. Like, look how smart you are hiding the loading screens. It's like, no, I know what you're doing.
No, exactly. We're all starting running a circle. Trying to fucking
do you know, I think I'll be mad though? Like, the next generation of Waynes, when they grow up, they'll be like, what's a loading screen?
That's one thing I'm like, yous have missed.
Aye, because that's when you go for a pee, you get a bag of crisps, you pour yourself some juice, and then you're back for the next. Yeah,
exactly.
Loading screen's an important part of gaming when growing up there, I think.
Also, it all glitches.
Do you remember sitting chonk for a piss and be like, hurry up and go to a loading screen so I can go? Then you put the controller down and run away and then run back. Like, Wayne's nowadays aren't going to get to do that, so it's piercing, I guess. Like,
they'll just bring like a water load beside them, like it's like a toilet space, like seat. They just shit themselves. But
yeah, I've seen some dodgy images on Reddit. Let's not get into that.
Dive deep.
Right, the next thing I think was something you wanted to talk about, and I think it's a good kind of discussion. The fact that Venom Let There Be Carnage, what a stupid title, is going to be rated PG-13.
I think I love Venom, right? I loved him. But first time I met him was in like the 19 TV show. I had no idea what it was, and when you saw him, he was just the next level character. And
Yeah.
when you saw him, even though it was a cartoon, you knew he was a bit fucking edgy. The film, I thought was really disappointing. At least they got the scale right. You know what I mean? He's a big fucking guy.
Yeah.
But this one, Carnage, is supposed to be off the rails Venom, where there's no kind of in between. He just kills you. I mean, I think it's supposed to. I don't know if it is for this one, but there's no point. He's supposed to be turned from blood, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't know.
So like, what the fuck? Like, at least kill something. Like, I want to see something like really bad, but now this happens. It's fuck.
In the comic, like I know it's a Marvel comic, right? And obviously Marvel doesn't tend to be as dark as DC, but I mean, Cletus Cassidy is a serial killer, probably a cannibal, and now he's an alien. So. Yeah, it should be extremely violent.
That mixture isn't good.
And the fact that they're kind of nerfing that, I think, I read it and I wasn't surprised, and I just kind of thought that shows you how out of touch, like Sony are.
It is Sony, innit? Like that's one thing. Yeah, I think they're playing it safe to like just get audiences. Like they're not giving.
Like I think after seeing, I don't know if the James Gunn Suicide Squad had something to do with this because that didn't make any money, but I think after seeing like Logan and Deadpool and these other R-rated films that done well, I just think it's such a mistake. It's such potential to tell a kind of gruesome and whatever story, and they're not doing it.
It goes down like Logan, like Deadpool was like I think Marvel just was like, let's just see what happens. Don't put him in like the whole thing was like they didn't want to put him in the universe. Now he is somehow he's coming in because he's done so well. Let Marvel, let fucking Venom and Carnage do their own thing. They're not connected to Spider-Man, man. Not at this time. I don't think they will ever.
Sony want them to be, and apparently Tom Hardy wants it to be as well. Listen,
does he? Of course.
Stop it. Just stop it, right?
Stop it, please.
Stop making these films. This is
naughty.
Right, here's my prediction. Right, this film's going to come out. Whether it's good or not, right? Whether it's good, like surprisingly okay, or whether it's utter shite, like we're not expecting it to be, it's not going to make any money because of the COVID thing, because it's a sequel, and because the first one wasn't very good. I don't think this is going to make any money, and I can see this coming out by Christmas. They'll announce that's the series done. Like the last one didn't make any, will not make any more, and then in the next year it's going to be Venom's going to be in the MCU. That's my prediction. Like Marvel are going to see the Sony are going to see the loss and be like, let's just do what we did with Spider-Man and give it Marvel. Yeah. That's what I think is going to happen.
Are you going to see? And when you say they're going to move to Marvel, is it going to be Tom Hardy as Venom? Just a completely different one, yeah.
New Venom, totally new Venom. It's going to be not connected to Tom Hardy and Tom Holland aren't going to be in the same film. It's going to be a totally different Venom, and hopefully that means Tom Hardy can play Wolverine in the MCU like everybody wants him to.
Really? I was always questioning about that. I was like, fuck, he's Mad Max. Like, just let it be Mad Max.
I think, don't get wrong, like, I want another Mad Max film as well, but I'd love to see him as Wolverine.
Because is he small?
Yes, he's 5. I don't know. He's under 5'10", and he's Wolverine height. He's not. I think in the comics Wolverine's like 5'4". He's not quite that small, but he's like 5'7", 5'8". He's smaller than Hugh Jackman. Put it that way.
Hugh Jackman is completely.
He's built. He can be like gruff and like as much as I love Tom Hardy, he's the kind of guy that might smell a bit, and Wolverine is supposed to smell really bad in the comics. So.
Smell of it.
I hope he's not listening. But
that's a belter.
Just in some of his roles, like listen, watch Lawless and tell me that guy doesn't smell. Watch Peaky Blinders and tell me that guy doesn't smell.
Aye. He doesn't wash his face that much.
He plays a few smelly characters. Like let's just put it that way. I don't know. I don't care. I just want that film to come out and be over and done with. I just don't give a shit. Do you know what I mean? But maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised and I think that was amazing. But I just don't see it.
No. After the PG-13, I'm like, okay, it's going to be just a run-of-the-mill movie. It's not going to be anything fun. So,
talking of Sony doing stupid things and making stupid decisions, this is a different department than Sony though. This is the gaming department. So the new Horizon game is coming out. I don't know if you played Horizon Zero Dawn. It wasn't very good. The robot dinosaur game.
No.
Well, they've made a sequel, right? And
Uh-huh.
it's called Horizon Forbidden West, and it's coming out to PS4 and PS5. However, they almost messed up. They originally said that if you buy a PS4, you can't upgrade to PS5. Like, the PS4 and PS5 games are two totally different games. If you buy a PS4 and then you buy PS5, you need to buy the game again. Like, there's no upgrade thing. They obviously had a ton of backlash to the point that they turned around and went, "Oh, we can change that. It's fine. We'll let you upgrade." So they fixed it basically because of the fan outrage. They fixed it. Which is
That shows you, like, it's the exact same thing that happened to when Xbox said that, like, back like years ago. They said you're not going to be able to play Xbox 360 games on Xbox. It's just people cash grabs, because they did do that, and it's like you're just repeating patterns, man. Just, it's not going to cost you anything. It's going to cost you money, but fuck, we're paying the fucking games. Like,
I've been saying for years, man. See if Sony. Like, I know that Sony have kind of been winning the console war the last kind of, I don't know, since PS4 or whatever.
Since PS4,
but they're coasting now. I think PS5's not getting anything out for it, really. I think they're coasting off PS4 still.
That's one thing. Being at the top of the game, you've not got any competition, so nobody's going to push you. Well, that's
the thing. I think if they put out backwards compatibility, I think it would be no question. Like, Sony would be the superior console, like PlayStation. But at the minute, I can't say that because even though I've always been a bigger fan of Sony exclusives like Uncharted and Last of Us, there's nothing like that for PS5 that you can't get elsewhere. You can't get on PC, for example. And Xbox has got the Game Pass, which is so much better than PlayStation Plus. Game Pass is an incredible service, and you get so many like brand new games day one. Plus, you get old games. Plus, as you're saying, you can play original Xbox games, Xbox 360 games, everything, every pass compatible game. Whereas PlayStation, it's like you can play PS4 games and that's it. So,
is PS5 still quite hard to get? Is it like?
Yes,
is it still got that thing?
Still pretty much impossible. Yeah.
So even that's going against them. Like,
we're going to get to the Sony are doing their PlayStation Showcase next Thursday, so we're going to go into that, and I want to kind of speak a bit about the PS5 when we get there. I'll save that. There's just a few other wee drips and drabs of news. Obviously, last week we spoke super in depth about the No Way Home trailer. Turns out that guy that slams his files down on the desk. It's not done it.
Oh no!
Sorry.
No, I thought his hairy arms. I was like, that is it. Oh no!
There's an IMAX trailer that's also shown in IMAX cinemas, and you can see a bit more of the screen. You see a bit more above the frame, and it's not Charlie Cox.
Oh no!
Yeah, it's just some dude.
Who is it? Just some guy?
Some detective guy. Yeah.
So. That's a miss, man.
It sucks, but that is what it is.
That's we should never speculate. I should have learned that for fucking WandaVision. Like, thinking it's going to be the bloody what was his name? I forgot the devil. What's the devil's name?
Mephisto.
I thought it was going to be for Mephisto, but man, nah. I'm not going to speculate anymore. Fuck it.
I mean, he can still be in it, but he's not.
No, it's not there. It's not there. That's a shot of the ego there. I really thought.
I don't really know what with this story. But Rick and Morty, like the social media pages on Facebook and Twitter and stuff, have been putting out these live action shorts. Have you seen none of them?
I have. I've seen the stills, like with the.
You've got Christopher Lloyd as Rick, and you've got Jaden. What's his surname? He is the wee guy from the It movies.
Is it not for Stranger Things?
No, he's in it. He's Billy in that.
Billy.
He's Morty, and they're kind of funny. I mean, they put out one and it was like, it's cute, and they put another one and they tried to do a Pickle Rick reference, and it was like, it's a bit dated. But
a bit dated.
Funniest shit I've ever seen, though, man. Pickle Rick, funniest shit I've ever seen.
Oh, Pickle Rick! Oh yeah, I think it's going to be. I think they're doing that as a teaser.
Sarcasm, by the way.
No, I know. I think they're trying to do that as a teaser, like just to say, is this possible? Like,
I think it's promotion for the final episode of this season, which is maybe coming out in a few weeks. But as you're saying, maybe they'll put the feelers out. If people are interested, maybe they will make it. But
I mean, Christopher Lloyd's quite old though.
He is old as shit. No, but yeah, I would like to see him in anything, but yeah, he's getting on, man.
He's getting that. He'll probably just be.
But good on him for doing the wee clip. Like I was like, it's good.
He's getting.
God, he's still working. He's like 100. That's nice.
He's still working. Still got a career. After Back to the Future.
Something I hadn't seen that you sent me was the news about fandom, DC fandom, which is still a stupid name, man. Who came up with that? It's a dome for the fans. Like
some fucking idiot.
Shut up, man.
The DC.
Terrible marketing. Anyway, we are supposed to get an exclusive new trailer for the Batman. The first look at Black Adam. Now it says first look. That doesn't even be a trailer. It'll probably be some still photos and The Rock on like an interview being like,
The Rock.
I'm so excited to be Black Adam. Like that'll not be like a trailer, but
with his eyebrows moving like up and down. That's what he would do.
And then a sneak peek at the Flash. And then a behind the scenes look at Aquaman, the Lost Kingdom, and Shazam: Fury of the Gods. Okay, I'm excited for the Batman trailer. All that, I'm excited for the Batman trailer. The rest of it, I don't care. Do you?
No. I'm curious about the Flash. I really want to see what the fuck's going on with that movie. I want to see if you see Keaton. Like, I mean, it's his birthday today, so
I want to get excited for that film, right? Because I like Michael Keaton and some Batfleck stuff's going to be in it, and yeah, cool, right? But the fact that it's Ezra Miller and the fact that it's still connected to all that shit that we had before, I'm just like, I don't care. Like, see if they just cast a new Flash, get a new guy, not connected to that version, that crappy version of the character whatsoever, and just made a Flash film with these Batman characters in it. Sure, sign me up. The guy who made that's doing it. Aye, cool, I'll watch it.
I think that like they've lost
the fact that it's like still him and he's a scumbag in real life, and I'm just like, it's man, I'm struggling.
They could introduce fucking Batman Beyond there, you know, like get a new Flash, get the Batman Beyond's in there.
Somebody should do a Batman Beyond film,
and then
who could do a Batman Beyond film?
I want to get to somebody new. See that like when there was like talking about like all like the new directors not getting like recognition. Like I think it was I can't remember the film. It was one of the Marvel films. Shang-Chi, is that right? Was he a new director or was it?
I think so, yeah.
Black Panther, I can't remember. But like it was like he's like a new director and that film's bloody went up the
I know that I'm just literally shitting on what you're saying because you're talking new directors, right? But
you did.
See how Duncan Jones, the guy that did Source Code and Moon, and let him do Batman Beyond.
That could be good. Like
Duncan Jones, Batman Beyond, David Bowie's son doing Batman Beyond. Aye,
David Bowie's son.
It's Bowie's son.
Is it? Is that Bowie's son? Really?
Yeah, Duncan Jones is David Bowie's son. Yeah.
Oh my god, I did not know that. Wow.
He makes good films. He makes good shit.
On you go. Like I think.
That last one he made was balls. That one, Mute. It was called. That was absolute garbage. But let's just
leave that.
Swing of us.
Let's just leave that there.
What about Neil Blomkamp? Let him do Batman Begins. That'd be interesting. Chappie was garbage, but
Chappie was utter.
If it was like District 9, that'd be cool. Like kind of post-apocalyptic Batman Beyond.
I think that he did do a good job with District 9. Chappie, I thought it's very similar. Like, you can see this in the same stylistically. He's like very similar.
Elysium was alright. Elysium was alright. Didn't hate Elysium. Fine.
I couldn't get past the first 30 minutes.
It was like a 6 or a 7. Not even a 7. It was a 6. I mean, it was fine. Chappie's like a 3, mate. Chappie's.
Even with what was the rappers in it?
I don't know. Deantwood in it.
Twiddle Twum and Twiddle Dum.
For some reason. The mad smelly Swedish stuff. Anyway. Right, DC stuff related to DC stuff. Do you want to talk about any other fandom stuff? Are you buzzing for anything else? Do you care?
No.
Nah. But,
are we going to move on to the lack of
new Batman trailer? Aye, brilliant, buzzing. Black Adam trailer, sure, okay. I forget trailer, I'd be surprised. The Flash, like I said, don't really care. Aquaman 2, Didn't like the first one, but I did do a review for it, and it's on the website, so go and read that. Spoilers, it was not very good. I also did a review for the first Shazam. Why have I done so many DC reviews?
It's because there's not a lot of movies. It's just fucking
closet DC guy. Review for Shazam on the website as well for the first one. But again, I just don't care about the sequel. I think it's been too long. I think they've left it too long. I think if they brought the first Shazam and then like 2 years later they were like, here's a sequel. It's been like 5 years. Like who gives a shit anymore? Who cares?
I know.
I thought they've left it too long. But we do have a look at Aquaman in the sequel wearing a new costume. And why have they made it the blandest, plainest, dumb costume that you can imagine? Like, what's that about?
I think they're going back to their old days of X-Men.
They
took it inspiration.
That was, oh my god, that was my first thought. No, it looks like an early noughties X-Men costume.
Exactly.
It does. It looks like
calm it down. You're like, no, ramp it up.
Listen. I'm gonna say, right, honestly, I'm not a big fan of the Aquaman costume. I'm not gonna like try and fight for that costume.
No.
But that said, if there's one guy that can pull it off, it's Jason Momoa.
It's
Jason that first
Momoa.
film,
yeah, exactly.
When he was wearing that gold thing with the green trousers, he looked banging. Just leave him that way. He looks cool. He's got the trident. He's the only guy in the world that suits it. Just why are you trying to make it cool now? Why are you trying to strip it back and make it dark? No, stop.
No, this is bad.
The one good thing you done that first crappy film and you've undone it. Why? The rest of that movie was shite.
I know.
What was that? An octopus playing the drums or some shit? Like what? You know Mad Max? What are you doing? Why are you trying to be Mad Max? Like
I don't know.
This is a sequel to a film that has like basically 9/11 with Superman flying through it. Like how dark was the end of Man of Steel?
Oh, yeah,
R.I.P. baby, it's not 20 years since 9/11. Jesus, that was a barely 10 joke.
I know, Jesus.
Shit, my bad.
It's even the same month. Jesus.
But do you know what I mean? Though they have that really dark sequence, and then they have an octopus playing drums under the water at the same time. It's like, what are these films? Pick a tone, pick a lane. Aye.
I think that's it's scary because he's in a sand planet as well. He's not in water. Like I want to see him.
I know. Put the fish dude in water. Like why is he on this? Why is he in the desert?
Why is he on fucking Mars or some shit like that?
Right. Last thing. I'm actually getting like
raging.
Off here. So let's move on, man. Get that piece of shit off my screen, man. I'm not even looking at my laptop. He's too distracted. I say, man, the guy, like, Jason Momoa's already built a tank. Why did they build muscles out in the suit?
Why
is there fake muscles on the suit? Jason
Momoa! It's fucking going back to bloody, like, Val Kilmer. You know?
Right. Yeah, there's that Val Kilmer documentary that's came out that I really want to see that I've not watched yet.
It's on Amazon. I think it's on Amazon. Yeah. So it's like, I think it's interesting. It's like
the thing is, right? I really want to see it. I'm a big fan of Val Kilmer, but I just know it's going to be really sad, and I don't know if I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
You need to be in a certain place. Do you know what I mean? Before you can watch it, I think it's too dark just to stick it on.
It's because you know, like his situation at the moment. You're like, oh fuck, it's going to end in kind of a low.
Yep. It's going to be very dark, man. Did you watch the trailer for it?
I did. I was
when you hear him speaking at the end.
I was like, oh no.
But he's in. Hey, good news. He's in the new Top Gun, which is cool.
Oh, what? Janky will be speaking.
Well, apparently Tom Cruise said he wouldn't do it without him, and I think they're going to blame his voice thing on an accident that he had in training or whatever, like in the character.
You never know, like the CGI stuff. They might get his son because I think that was his son that was doing his voice.
Yeah, well, his son narrates the documentary, and he sounds. It's really well done in the trailer because you think it's him, and then you're like, oh my god. Anyway, go watch trailer, go watch documentary because it looks interesting. I've not seen it, so I can't really recommend it, but it looks cool. PlayStation Showcase. Finally, we've got a date. I've been waiting for this to be announced for donkeys, man. Like last year. When the world was a shit show, obviously there was nothing. There was a few state of plays. And then PlayStation were like, E3's coming back, but we're not going to be there. And I was like, okay. And then Gamescom came round and PlayStation was like, we're not going to be there. And I was like, okay. And then PlayStation were like, we're going to do a state of play. And I was like, yes, I don't know, these are my predictions on the website, but they're going to show at the state of play. It's going to be amazing. We're going to get 10 new reveals because they won at E3. And then they just showed what Horizon. That was the Horizon sequel.
Horizon, yeah.
Like, what? We know that's coming and we've seen it. Why are you showing us? Who cares? Right, anyway. But this is basically what we've all been waiting for. This is the PlayStation Showcase where they're going to announce some interesting shit hopefully. I wrote a piece on the website where I'd done not predictions, but just things that we're likely to see. I can tell you right now, we're not going to see it in VR related. They've ruled out any VR stuff. What else? They said there's something else they said we weren't going to see, but we know we're going to see Deathloop and the Death Stranding director's cut. Sure, I mean Deathloop. I feel like Deathloop has been that. You know how those films that are coming out, and by the time you go and see it, you've seen the whole movie because you've seen so many trailers. That's where I'm at with Deathloop at this point. It's been at every show since like I don't know 2 years ago, and I'm just like I've seen enough. Also, Death Stranding director's cut. Listen, I'll be the first guy to like stan Kojima. I love Kojima, but who cares? Do you know what I mean? I suffered through the first Death Stranding because it was Kojima. I'm not going to go back and play director's cut. Like, come on, no. Who's actually going to do that? Shut up.
He's got he's got, because he's on his own now.
Yeah,
he can do what he wants, and he's kind of at that peak where he's just going to do what he wants, and if it's a shit game, it's just because it hides behind his name, kind of thing.
I do to some extent. I would agree with you. Andrew Dell's a Death Stranding, but yeah,
it wasn't Cyberpunk like a character.
It was weird.
Weird.
But in terms of this, like, I just feel like it's a waste. I'm like, the guys clearly get so many other ideas. Like, why are we getting a director's cut of a game that nobody loved? Do you know what I mean? I'm like, why are we doing this? Anyway, listen, maybe it's a cover up and it's actually Silent House. We'll see.
That's what you really want. Silent House.
That's why I keep saying that. I don't actually think it anymore. I just want it. We're obviously going to see more Horizon shit, but I'm like, who cares? The thing that I'm excited to see more of, that I think we will see more of, is God of War Ragnarok. We've not seen anything from Ragnarok other than a trailer. We got a release date that was then changed or nixed. Maybe they just took the release date away. I can't remember, but we've not seen anything really from it. I don't know if you played the first God of War, but I loved it, and it kind of ended on a somewhat of a cliffhanger where it looks like you're going to have to fight Thor. So yeah, I'm excited, man.
I've not actually played any God of War games. I'm going to be kicked off this.
No. I don't. A lot of folk kind of, when you tell them play God of War, like the most recent one, they're like, I don't really like the games. The new one, it's totally different. It's a totally different tone. It's a totally different feel. It's so much more mature. It's not just an angry guy with an axe. It's this guy trying to bring up his son in this messed up world, and he's on the run for his past, and everybody's trying to kill them. And it's not just people; it's bloody monsters and dragons and all sorts of crazy shit. But it's not like it's. I don't like fantasy stuff like normally. I guess it's more mythology than fantasy, but it's not about that. It's about like the feeling and the melancholy and the relationship and it's so well acted, so well written. It looks incredible graphically. It plays really well. Just New God of War is an amazing game. I platinumed it because it was so good and the platinum was solid. So
see, there's one thing that I might sound like a fucking old fat here, like, you know, one of those guys that say, "Oh, and back in my day the games were bright." But see, like back in like early 2000s, like you had Silent Hill 2, you had like Max Payne.
Oh, what game?
Halo 2 came out.
You've lost me.
I know.
I was with you there, Chris.
I was trying to get all different genres
Halo,
in there. And like GTA, man, like I think there was a lot of stuff in the early 2000s you could get away with and just get people, like, even see when Lord of the Rings movies came out, you had a game, and even though the games might drift away from the film, they were still pretty good. Fucking like the last game, like the Return of the King or something, that was like an amazing game. You could play co-op.
I loved the Lord of the Rings games. I really liked the Two Towers. I remember that specifically. Really enjoyed that.
The Two Towers were brilliant. Like they've lost, like when you're talking about Kojima, they've like just like they've lost that kind of. They want to put their own vision. They don't want to just try something different. You know?
I think it's more the market has totally changed. I don't think it's the creators' fault. I think it's publishers don't want to make something that isn't going to make money. And it's so much more expensive nowadays to make a game. Like as you're saying, back in the day, it didn't cost that much to make a game. So this film's coming out. Let's make a game to promote the film. That's basically why. That's why they made the game. It was to promote the movie.
Film,
whereas at this point, it's not even worth doing that because the investment to make the game is dearer than what you make, off the movie profits. So it's causing markets totally changed. And if you want to read more about that, you can go into the website and search up A Gander at Gaming, which is my series of gaming articles, essays that kind of go into this sort of thing. But
Awesome.
basically the middle, there used to be the AAA games, right, like GTA, right, and then there was like kind of cheap arcade games at the bottom, and then everything else was the mid tier. And the mid tier at that time was really, the spectrum was really wide for the mid tier. Like there was a lot of great games that were still considered mid tier games. And then it was when we got to like PS3 era, about halfway through the PS3 era, the mid tier kind of fell away. Games like Time Shift and I guess Haze to some extent. I mean, Haze was in the games, but a lot of the games didn't do well, and they weren't worth the money it took to make them. Singularity, that was another kind of mid tier PSA game. A lot of these kind of early 2006, 2007 games, and then by about 2010. It fell away, the mid tier fell away completely, and all you were left with was like indie games like Hotline Miami, Super Meat Boy, these super successful, simple games. And, you know, like, I don't know, what was coming out around that time, AAA wise, like Uncharted and Assassin's Creed. Do you know what I mean? That was the kind of the two types of games you were getting. You weren't getting anything in between. I do think recently we seem to have, I don't know if we're getting to a point now where
the bar's so high.
Well, I think maybe I'm speaking out of turn here, I don't know, but I think a lot of like smaller indie developers have got access to better software. Like Blender's came a long way. See, for free software, Blender's came a long way. And other animation and sort of development tools are becoming cheaper. A lot of them are becoming free. Unreal Engine's now free. So things like that, I think people are able to make a bit more than just Flash games. Because as much as I like Hotline Miami and Super Meat Boy, that's what they are. They're glorified Flash games.
Exactly.
Aye, but we've been able to RIP Flashplay, by the way, that get next a few last year that went. But anyway, that's I think that's where we're kind of at. So maybe in the next 5 years we might start seeing the mid tier coming back because indie developers can make those kind of games again. I don't know.
I think we've been kind of spoiled because, like, see, in the mid 2000s was like, all right, we can just try things with movies coming out to the games. When it hit 2010s, I think the premium went up. You had The Witcher. You had Deathstone, Bloodborne, sorry, and Elder Scrolls came out. Red Dead came out in 2015, I think, maybe. No, Red Dead came out in 2010.
The first one was 2010.
Aye, 2010. And that was like a
the first one
game.
Was Red Dead Revolver in
2003 or something.
Yeah. But the first, I know what you mean, the first Rockstar one was Well, that one was Rockstar, but it was a different team.
Like in 2010, man, so many good games. Like Fallout New Vegas came out. Like, I think Batman Arkham City came out or something that time. It's like there's so many. Like nowadays, you're like, oh shit, we need to live up to these standards. Yeah. I don't think you can, man. Like I think people are coming like, oh, we just need to make the game look great, and then the story's shit.
To play devil's advocate, right, and say it's not just all about like back in my day. I do think last gen did have some incredible experiences. I think Ghost of Tsushima was an amazing experience. Like that's up there with one of my favourite games ever. God of War, like we were just talking about, is a recent game. Spider-Man PS4, Insomniac Spider-Man as well. I'm not. I think we are still getting great games and great AAA experiences, but my problem is since the PS5's launched, there's nothing available on that console that isn't available elsewhere. That's the problem. Even games that have come out that have been kind of cool, you can get them on PC. So or in PS4 with longer load times, okay, fair enough, but you can still play them in PS4. So it's like, like we were saying earlier, right? It's really difficult to get PS5 just now, but at the same time, I'm not that I still don't have a PS5, and I'm not that bothered by it because there's nothing to play. There's no real incentive for me to even if it was this difficult to get one, I would probably have one by now. Like I would have paid extra, or I would have had an alert on my phone for as soon as it came into stock on Amazon or Game, or I'd really be chasing it if it was worth chasing. But it's not, because there's nothing. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing that's drawing me to it that strongly. So I think that's why I'm just like, I don't care now. I'm fine. I've got a PC, my PlayStation 4. I'm cool. I don't mind.
When did it come out? A year ago?
Yes, well, almost. I think it was last November, right?
And there's still no really any exclusives. That's fucking amazing.
Well,
that's how they're telling on. Is there any creatives coming up with games?
Let's get to the exciting part about this showcase that's coming. There was a story, again, something I reported on a few months ago for the website, apparently PlayStation have 25 exclusives in development. That was something they said. We've got 25 exclusives. One of them's obviously Horizon, one's God of War, one's probably Gran Turismo. So there's a few that you kind of know about, Deathloop, things like that. But there's also a ton that we don't know about. I'm hoping to win Silent Hill, but we'll see. I'm going to keep coming back to that till it happens.
Just
and one of them, hopefully, possibly, according to a recent rumour, might be a new Infamous game. Speaking about Insomniac, Sucker Punch. Obviously, after Ghost of Tsushima, they're doing a director's cut. Ghost of Tsushima is getting a director's cut, but once that's out, nobody really knows what they're working on next. And there's been a fair amount of rumours going about that they could be returning to the Infamous franchise, which I could see because there was 2 Infamous games on PS3, one on PS4, and then nothing. And it is a fairly, it's not a massive franchise, but it's quite a well-known franchise not to do anything with. So I could see them announcing that at this showcase. I think they'll come out and say, nothing massive. It'll be a logo and some music and maybe like a 2-second clip for the game, and it'll be like Infamous is coming out. And they'll not even give a date. It'll just be like, we're working on it. And I think that'll be enough.
How many titles was it? Only 2 titles made for Infamous?
3.
I thought there would.
This will be the 4th.
There would be a 4th. I thought there would be like the Rocksteady, like they're doing 3 and done, like 3 Batmans.
No,
done.
I think
a 4th.
I think they'll do a 4th, and I think they'll do. Well, I mean, technically there's more because they did the first Infamous, then they did the second Infamous, then they did a DLC that wasn't quite a full game but quite meaty, and then they did Infamous Second Son, and then they did a DLC called First Light, which basically was its own game, which also was incredible. I loved First Light and Second Son. Platinum to them. I prefer First Light to Second Son. So yeah, I can totally see them doing more with it. Probably a new character again, like not Cole or Delson. Probably a whole new protagonist. But yeah, I can see them. I wouldn't be surprised if they announced that at this event. And I think that's what we'll see. I think we'll see just a quick kind of list of predictions. I think we'll see Deathloop, Death Stranding, Horizon, maybe Gran Turismo, and then we'll see God of War, and then I think one last thing, Infamous is coming back, and then I think that'll be enough to get people hyped, and it'll be enough to maybe get people not pre-order the console because it's been out. I mean, go and buy the console. I also think this might be a stretch, but I can also see them saying, see how you've wanted a PS5 for the last year? Well, now you can get one easier because we've made more chips and we've made more availability. I can see them hopefully saying, by this Christmas, it'll be in stock. You go to Amazon, you'll be able to buy one kind of thing. Whether or not they'll be as frank as that about it, I don't know, but I think they will say something about making it more available.
Do you think they'll lower the price?
Nah. I don't think they'll lower the price, but I think they might announce a new version. I think it might be like a PS5 Slim or
the Slim. Oh, don't take it back to those days.
I think they'll do something like that. They'll announce a 0.2 version. Do you know what I mean? It'll be an upgraded, maybe it'll be a bit more memory or something slightly faster or some shit. But I don't see them drop the prices yet. But I think they'll announce an upgraded version and they'll say you can buy it next year or something. I don't know. I hope they do because, like I said, people want to give them money. Like, there's so much money lying on the table. Look at how much they've made already. They've made billions. They could make double if they just had it.
If they have it in stock,
yeah. So, I don't know, but that'll be cool.
Because that is one console that I've lacked. But I think I had the PS3 when it came out, and I've turned onto the Xbox, and now I'm like, oh, fuck, I really want to just play. I really wanted to play the Ghost of is it Ghost of Tsushima?
Yep.
I really wanted to play that because I was like, that looks fucking amazing. And I was
I never thought I'd be this guy, right? Because I'm not a massive fan of PC gaming because I just feel like it's a bit of a hassle. But because of how hard it is to get a PS5, and because most of what you can get in Xbox you can also get in PC, I would say get a PC. It's no cheap, right? And COVID has also made PC parts more expensive. But if you can afford to build even like a £500 PC, you'll be able to play everything you want to play. And a lot of PS4 exclusives are coming to PC. Like,
are they?
I'm pretty sure God of War is, Death Stranding is, what was that one? Detroit Become Human, that's on PC. And I heard a rumour that Ghost of Tsushima is possibly getting ported to PC as well. So Aye. That would be my advice. If you've got the money to buy a console, I'd say put an extra couple hundred to it and get a PC. I mean, like I said, that's not my kind of choice for gaming. For me personally, I like to come in from my work, sit in my arse, open a packet of crisps, and sit in my controller on the couch. I don't like sitting here. This is when I'm sitting there. This is where I work. Do you know what I mean? It's not really where I chill. So I kind of like. I'll play some PC games and I enjoy playing on PC sometimes, but it's not really my preferred thing. I like sitting in my arse in the living room. Do you know what I mean? Big telly,
enjoying it.
Saying that, I like this. I prefer PC gaming for online stuff, like say Warzone and that. I prefer that on PC. But that's we're doing deep cuts now.
We're going down.
That is we're at just short of an hour, and that is all the news. Unless you've got anything else to talk about, Chrissy.
No, I'm happy to move on.
Okay. The next thing we are going to talk about briefly is just what you've been playing, what you've been watching this week. Chrissy, have you been consuming anything of relevance to this podcast?
I was going to say of relevance. Like, see, to be honest, I think it is. It's like positivity is always what I want to bring to the table. All right.
Okay.
And I think the only thing that I've watched in the recent month, the 2 weeks ago, it made me actually purchase Apple TV was Ted Lasso. Have you ever watched it?
No, but Massimo's been banging on about it. Says it's great.
It is a shocking thing to just see the positivity. Like, you know, everybody like since like 18 months ago, you're like, oh fucking it, we're going to get locked down. Everybody's getting COVID. We're getting double jabs. Like, you know, even getting a booster jab next month. It's like a wee like golden nugget in the sand. I think that's like it's just kind of boosted me up and thinking, okay, it's a nice wee. It's a gentle breeze as well. It's only half an hour,
right.
So it's like. You can watch them all. I've watched them all to season 2 now, so like maybe it is. Maybe I've just became a bore, and I'm like, all right, just let me see what I want to watch. But yeah, that's what I've been really into like, the past couple of days. So sadly, nothing much else.
I've been going nostalgic recently. Because of the No Way Home trailer, I went back and rewatched the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man film the other night. What a great time I had watching that film. Possibly not for the reasons that intended, but what a great time. Like, it's so good. It's so like that time period. It's so post Evil Dead Sam Raimi, but still I don't know. I mean, it's 2001 it came out, 2000 right about there. You've got all these ropey effects. You've got
like a grown man running for a bus.
Aye, they're all 30, but they're still you're like, no bother. And then also a lot of films I think have been ruined by the memes, like Shrek. I can't watch Shrek anymore because of the memes. But I would argue that the first Spider-Man film's actually been improved by the memes. Like, I'm actually something of a scientist myself, and when he's in the cage with Bonesaw and he goes, "Nice costume, did your husband make it for you?" And in the memes, like, "Yes, he did, it's our anniversary present, you dick, you homophobe." Like, the memes like that really like help. The bits like that haven't aged well, you're like, well, they've memed it, so it's fine. I really enjoyed my time, man. Are you
going to continue? Like, are you going to watch the whole?
I'm going to watch Spider-Man 2 because that's the best one. I might just skip 3 and pretend that never happened. I don't know.
I was going to say the memes did not help that movie.
No.
Spider-Man 3.
Well, yeah, no, they didn't.
I mean, you can watch it. I mean, the dance sequences, maybe.
And I'm definitely going to watch Amazing Spider-Man because life's too short.
Yeah.
But I'll definitely watch Spider-Man 2 because those first 2 films are incredible. And yeah, the first, I was great to go back to. Like, see the part with the burning house and there's a real woman with the thing over her head, and then it's a Green Goblin. He's like, ah! It's so dumb. It's so shit. And see the part, obviously, because the mask doesn't move, because for some reason they didn't go with the cool looking mask that did move, but that's
the organic one.
Because the mask doesn't move. See the scene where they're on the roof, and he's basically like, "Join me, Spider-Man," and the mouthpiece is opened and the eyes are open. It's so dumb.
Did you notice that? I don't know if it's just me, but I watched it and I don't think his lips are moving when he's speaking. He must have dubbed that.
Probably.
Because you could. I thought his
probably because you can't actually hear him under that stupid mask. So like obviously you're going to have to dub it. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
No, but I think
incredible.
That's a good pull, man. Like watching Spider-Man 2, especially on the back of that trailer.
What a movie, what a time. I know there was a part of me was just going to dive in and watch Spider-Man 2 because also Doc Ock was a big thing in the trailer, but I was like, no, I want the first one.
I want the first one to get
there. Yeah, what a film, man. What a time to be alive. Yeah, and then when the glider goes through at the end and he's like, don't tell Harry. You're like, very good. Wasn't that a minute ago when you were cackling like a fan?
The funny thing is, he killed himself. It's like, oh well. Like, how is he back in this film?
That film, mate. Such a good film. It turns people into skeletons on the roof, on the balcony. Like, so good.
Yeah.
It's so
classically like, violent.
It's so Sam Raimi. Like, it's violent, but it looks terrible, so it's fine.
It's fine. You can get by with it. You're like,
what a film.
That's like something that you've done. I don't think I've seen that anywhere. Like, it just turned to skeletons, and everybody was okay with it. Like, no blood. That's how he got away with it. Was that there's no blood?
Well,
you just see skeletons.
to be fair, that first Spider-Man film was one of the first films I remember being a 12A. Because obviously America's always had PG-13, maybe not always, but for longer than we have. Over here, it was always a U, a PG, and then a 12. Whereas a 12A being a thing, I think the first Spider-Man was the first 12A film I've ever seen anyway in the cinema. Like, I had to go with my dad, and it was a 12 age. I mean, you couldn't go in. Yeah.
By yourself, you had to have a parent.
I mean, I was 6 to be fair, so yeah. But what a film! What nostalgia.
That's a belter.
So yeah, I watched that, and nostalgia point number 2. I have been playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 remake.
Oh wow! Back to the 2000s.
listen. This one,
Did it hold up?
I'm going to bring it down a bit here, right? Because that game was listen. This is a me problem because that game was received phenomenally by other people. People love that remake. It just, I don't know if I've just been ruined by games over the years that's not enough for me anymore. But see, just like riding around a skate park, collecting the letters SKATE. It's fun 3 or 4 times. See, by the 5th time, it's a task. It's a chore. Do you know what I mean? And trying to pull off certain tricks, like it's fun for a while. And I don't know. I played it for like a week. I think I played it like Monday through Friday, and I didn't beat it. I just played some levels to the first game, some levels to the second game, and I was like, I've got what I came for. Like, do you know what I mean? I had a wee bit of nostalgia. I heard the old soundtrack. Oh, these songs were good back in the day. I'd done my wee tricks and got my checklist ticked off, and then I was like, I'm done. Do you know what I mean? It was okay. It was fine.
Yeah. See, that's the only bad thing about visiting old games. Like when we talk about like in previously, I was saying, Lord of the Rings was great. If you go back to it, it probably is still a great game. But like you might see things like, oh fuck, okay, this was annoying.
I also think nowadays, like with like back in the day, man, I used to just spend hours in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater making skate parks. Like I would just put down all these ramps and
making
bars and see now. You can still do that. You still get create a skate park. And I was going to go in and do it, and I was like, I could be playing like God of War or Cyberpunk or Ghost of Tsushima. I could be, or Doom. Doom Eternal. I played that and beat that. I don't know if I mentioned that. I finished that. But yeah, I could. When I was doing that, I'm like, why am I wasting time doing this? Like, I can go and play something else. Like, I don't know. I feel there's more competition nowadays, and that's kind of sad.
That is such a brilliant point. I remember doing that in Far Cry, like Far Cry 2.
Far Cry 2. Oh, mate, that map editor was amazing.
And you could do everything. You could make races. You would spend ages on that. Nowadays, I would
big ramps that would go down to like spikes with explosive barrels. And
exactly.
I remember I tried to like spawn a barrel in midair and drive a truck off the building or off like the ramp, so it would like crash it the barrel in midair, and then I would slightly miss it. I'd be like, I need to go up a wee bit, and then I would do it again. I'd be like, I need to bring it down a wee bit, and like why did we spend hours doing that? But it's so fun.
Even like the car mechanics was terrible in that game. If you knocked into a wall, you would blow up. But like, I totally get what you mean. Like I would never spend hours on that now. When I did, I probably spent full days on a map.
Yeah,
you're like, oh no, there's nothing. Oh, that's so bad. That's so sad. You don't get any joy out of creating anything anymore.
No, I know. We've been ruined.
Right.
Okay, with all of that said, I think we're going to move on to our quiz. This Listen, this idea
This is a
has
risky
been
one.
attempted. We peek behind the curtain. This idea has been attempted 3 times. So really, I should be an expert at this point. Um, the quiz, the basic premise of the quiz, right? I didn't work the first time because we've done it as a tester, and then it was a bit shit. And then we did it again. I did it with Ben for Ben's tester before Ben came on the podcast,
Mhm.
and it was great because Ben is great. But I messed up the recording, so it didn't record the audio. so this is third time lucky. Please hope to God I'm recording the audio for this, because if not, I'll cry. I just went to check there, but I think we are. So the basic quiz is I will open a movie on Letterboxd. If you don't know, Letterboxd is basically a review website, but there's no gauge on what you can put. You can write the most detailed, beautiful review, paragraphs long, or you can just put a sentence saying this film's shite. Like there's no, do you know what I mean? There's no what's the word? There's no filter. It's just people's just thoughts, right? So yeah, this is the game. This is the Letterboxd quiz game. So I will read you a review, a short review, a couple of sentences max, and you need to tell me what film it's for. I will give you 3 options.
Oh, right, okay. It's like multiple choice. Oh, thank
Yes,
God.
yeah.
I was
Oh
like,
yeah,
oh,
I'm not that cool. Like,
I was like, oh my God. Like,
um,
this is going to be a daunting task.
so
Right,
so we'll do 10. Is that okay?
that's brilliant.
And I'm thinking we'll do 5 Marvel and 5 DC.
On you go. On you go.
Right.
That's good. I was
Okay.
going to say, are you going to give me genres or we're just going random
No,
movies?
we'll stick to comic films. We'll do
That's
Marvel and
good.
DC.
That's good. That's good.
So first of all, Marvel or DC? What would you like for your first one?
Go Marvel.
You want Marvel? Okay.
I think I could. I think I'm all right with Marvel.
Okay. So this review.
Is it yours?
No, this is
Shite. All right, okay.
Listen, not all my reviews are that harsh, right? Okay, so this first one, I'll start you with quite a hard one.
Oh shit. Okay. I'm ready.
No, do you know what? We'll go medium. This isn't. I'm going to go a really hard one there, but that's too general.
I saw your
I'll be a bit more
face.
generous, right?
I saw your face there. I was like, oh please. Like,
Right.
go,
So
go easy.
these are your options, right? This is either a review for Captain America: Civil War,
Mhm.
Black Panther,
Mhm.
or Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Right.
By the way, for listeners, all of which you can find reviews for on the website, I wrote a review for Civil War and Black Panther, and Jared, who was on a couple of weeks ago, wrote a review for Homecoming, so check them out on the website. But yes, back to this. So either Civil War, Black Panther, or Homecoming. Are you ready for the review, Chris?
I'm ready. Let's go. Oh, that was supposed to be a drum roll, but sound effects are not that department.
This is a 4.5-star review, and it reads, I count this as the 5th instalment to the Avengers series.
Oh.
5th, number 5.
All right, so it has to be something quite substantial in the sense that it has to be a blockbuster element. Oh, my thoughts are going towards the Civil War, but I'm thinking that might be too obvious. Like,
My question is...
Have we got helplines?
Well, my question is, right, this isn't a help, this isn't me either way trying to swing you, but my question is, Civil War came out before Infinity War, which is the 3rd Avengers film. So how in the name of Christ could Civil War be the 5th one?
Oh, of course. Oh my God. Jesus. When did Black Panther came out before it as well? Because he had to establish the character. What was
Black Panther came out in 2018, Homecoming 2017, Civil War 2016. Don't know if that helps any.
I'm going to go with Spider-Man.
Spider-Man's the 5th Avengers film.
Oh. Oh, no! Was I right the first time?
Yeah, it was Civil War.
Oh, damn it! Oh.
But how is Civil War the 5th Avengers? What are the 3rd and 4th?
No.
What?
Civil War's the middle, at least. It's not...
What are the 3rd and 4th Avengers films if Civil War's the 5th? That made no sense.
4-star review for that. that was all right. Right, trust my gut next time, Chris. Come on, I can do this.
Right. Okay, this is DC time now. Okay.
All right. Okay.
Okay. Your choices are Man of Steel, Justice League directed by Joss Whedon, or Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Oh, that's okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay.
This is a really good review. I really enjoyed this. So this is a
It must be Jace. It must be like something Justice League. 'Cause you really like it.
this is a 3.5-star review.
Okay.
The profile picture is Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn. Don't know if that has any bearing on things.
Okay.
And the review reads: Martin Scorsese, having tears in his eyes, leans under his cinema chair and lifts his notebook. He opens his notebook to the last page, which says Marvel movies equals not cinema. He somberly lifts his pencil and scores out the word not. So it is Marvel movies equal cinema.
Oh no.
Sorry, I read that wrong. Sorry. Superhero movies equals not cinema. He puts a line through the word not, so superhero movies are cinema. Well, I'll read that again better because I messed that up.
Aye, on you go.
Mark Scorsese, having tears in his eyes, reaches under his cinema chair, pulls out his notebook, opens it to the most recent page where it reads superhero movies equals not cinema, and he somberly scores out the word not. So that reads superhero movies equals cinema.
Because like
is that Man of Steel, Joss Whedon's Justice League, or Zack Snyder's Justice League?
I feel like I remember him saying that maybe a year ago, but I think it might have been like that could be closely connected to the Joss Whedon one. But I'm thinking he might have went and saw Man of Steel and thinking
this didn't actually happen, baby. This is just somebody put up a review.
No, but did he not say like something in like a video, an interview, like comic book movies aren't actual real movies, and then that really destroyed.
While Martin Scorsese was doing the press tour for The Irishman, I think Infinity War was coming out around the same time.
Right, okay.
And it was at that point that he said superhero movies are. He said, give him his due, he didn't say they're shit. He said they're enjoyable in the way that a theme park ride is enjoyable, but they're not cinema, is what he said. Scorsese, I love the guy, I love his films, but what out of those three would make him change his mind in the eyes of this reviewer?
See, I think Man of Steel was good from a cinema point of view. I think that was a good film, even though if don't matter if you like Superman, it was it was the best film I think of the three. At least they had like a beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah, kind of, sort of
like a disaster ending. At least I think it was Joss Whedon's.
You think it was Justice League 2017?
Well, is it another Justice League?
It's Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Really? Oh, I thought that one was better, at least. That's a very controversial topic, though.
Review. I did a review for Joss Whedon's Justice League, and Ian Lynn did a review for Zack Snyder's Justice League, which you can find on our website. I'll link all these below.
Do you agree? Do you agree? Who do you agree with? Do you think
out of those three films?
Do you think Man of Steel is probably the best out of them?
That's a good question. Do I prefer Zack Snyder's Justice League or Man of Steel? That's a good question. I like parts of both movies. I really dislike parts of both movies. Mm-hmm. Probably Zack Snyder's Justice League. I don't know if that's just because I haven't seen it as much. I've seen Man of Steel more, so I think I probably know Man of Steel more. Mm-hmm. So that might change over time, but at the minute, I'll say Zack Snyder's Justice League. What would you say?
I really love Batman and stuff like that, and I love the Justice League, but I would say I would watch Man of Steel more than the Justice League movies, man. I don't know why. I've only watched them once, and I think I've watched Man of Steel a couple of times, like more than 4 times. So that's what led me towards that. But at least I wasn't wrong with Man of Steel. I was just wrong with which Justice League it was. At least, poor Martin Scorsese, he's getting flung in the dumps.
Listen, I think he'll be fine. Like, he's a multi-millionaire. He's one of the most successful filmmakers of all time. I don't think he cares.
I don't think he gives a shit.
No. Must be great to have that.
Oh, that power?
Yeah.
I think he's doing another film with like cowboys or something. He's like going in a completely different direction than what he usually does. So that would be interesting to see. Brendan Fraser, that's what caught me out of this movie. I was like, all right, I'll watch it just to see.
Yeah. He's in the Scorsese film. Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. Sure.
Sure. Hit me with a fourth one.
Okay, let's. You've not done great, Chris, so
No,
far.
I
Being
have not.
honest. So let's
No,
make
it's
it.
a
I
redemption
don't know if
story.
this will make it easier for you or not.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you'll enjoy this. So we're back to Marvel, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So this review is either for Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2, or Iron Man 3.
Oh, fuck. Right, okay.
Right? The review reads, this is a 4-star review, and it reads, the best Iron Man movie. You'll just hate fun. That house party was fire.
2.
Iron Man 2.
Mm-hmm.
What?
What?
Iron Man 3, the party at the start that they go to for New Year's when Happy's dressed up as John Travolta from Pulp Fiction, remember?
Fuck. I thought he was talking about the hat when he was drunk.
Yeah,
When he was
yeah,
in the suit.
I can see that.
I was like, that's a party scene. Oh, fuck hell. Jesus. Oh, fuck. Oh, wait, how many questions I went through? 3?
This is the third, yep.
And there was 10? All right, okay.
We're going to go for 10. We'll see how long we go.
I've got another 7. Oh, 6.
You can come back. You've got time.
I've got time. I was just went with my gut with that one. I was like, oh yeah, 2. Oh, fuck.
Okay, this may be an interesting one. So this is for either Aquaman, Wonder Woman, or Suicide Squad 2016. So DVD or Suicide Squad.
Okay.
Okay. And the review reads, I wish the second one could have been this good.
I wish the second one could be this good.
3-star review, I wish the second one could have been this good.
Bear
in mind the sequel for Aquaman is not out yet.
Yeah, I was going to say sequel.
But we did get that shitty looking costume, so maybe you've seen that costume and thought.
Oh, when was the review posted?
It doesn't have a date.
Oh, but
It doesn't have a date.
Well, there's none sequels to the. I think it might be Wonder Woman, because Wonder Woman 88 wasn't received.
84 was terrible. Final answer.
Uh-huh.
Yay! Got one.
I told you, redemption arc's coming.
Yes, Wonder Woman. This is good, man. I like trying to catch out. That's fun. Right. Okay. Let's do another 3 Marvel films.
Oh my god. That one was really easy because there's no sequels.
Yeah. I did kind of feel a bit sorry for you there and give me that one, but that's okay.
That's good. Thanks, I appreciate it.
Right. Okay. This is a more general one.
Okay.
Captain America, The Winter Soldier,
Mm-hmm.
Thor Ragnarok, or Avengers Age of Ultron.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is... Sorry. I've read that wrong. Where's the review in? Okay, here we go. Best Marvel movie. I don't care what you think. Didn't even feel like a sequel. 5-star review.
So I think The Winter Soldier was an amazing sequel to Captain America: The First Avenger.
Yep.
Thor as well. It came off Thor Ragnarok came from Dark World, which was a fucking abysmal, and that was something. Oh, you've given me a hard one there, and I don't think
Age of Ultron.
I don't think. Oh, they're actually no. That was. My gut said Captain America because that was a really good sequel. But I don't think it's an Avengers movie. So it's either between Thor
or Cap.
Oh, but Thor was so bad.
Thor was horrible. Yes, The Dark World was horrible.
That was so bad.
Review on the website by yours truly, slagging Thor: The Dark World.
Oh, that was... I think Captain America wasn't that bad. It was a good movie. What the reviewers said, it didn't feel like a sequel.
Yes.
I'm thinking...
feel like a sequel.
I'm thinking it might be Thor Ragnarok.
Final answer?
Uh-huh.
Hey,
Yes!
you nearly said Cap, but
I
you
did.
got it. Well done.
I did.
Yes, Thor Ragnarok. Review for Thor Ragnarok on the website as
Website.
well.
On the
Just
BGC Comic Con.
listen. Chances are, see if you go into BGCP Comic Con and you want to hear a review for one of these films and you search it,
It's
you'll probably find one.
it's probably there.
Right.
I'm so
Okay.
buzzing. 2 points.
He's doing well.
I'm doing well, boys.
He's pulling it back. What are we on? Is that 5 questions?
5 out, aye.
So you get 2 out of
Well,
5 so
2
far.
out of 5. Sounds like my scores in my school, innit?
It's a kind of rolling average that you seem to have.
Exactly. Look, boys, you don't do well, you still end up in a podcast somehow. You flunk school, somehow maybe. Oh, man.
Okay, are you ready?
I'm ready.
This is just a total. So, the options here: Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice,
Oh no.
The Dark
The
Knight.
extended edition or just the film?
Just the OG.
Just
the classic, the 2016 classic. The Dark Knight
Uh-huh.
or Joker 2019. Joaquin Phoenix's Joker.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So, the review reads: This is a 5-star review.
Mm-hmm.
One of the most impactful pieces of art that I saw at that time. And in this part, it's super random. I'm glad I gave End of Evangelion a watch a few years after.
No,
Is
that
that's
doesn't make any sense to me.
that's the anime, right? Evangelion.
It might be.
I'm pretty sure that's one of these dumb weeb animes. Why this is in this review, I don't know, but it is.
Oh no!
One of the most impactful pieces of art I saw at that time.
See, that could
I'm
be
glad I
sarcastic.
gave the End of Evangelion a watch years after.
See, that could be so sarcastic. You'd be like, "Oh, Batman v Superman, what a work of art!" Oh no! Like,
Joker 2019, The Dark Knight, or Batman v Superman.
I think I'm going to think because like Impact Joker was impactful emotionally. Batman: The Dark Knight was just a great movie all around. I think he's saying it sarcastically if he's going for Batman v Superman.
Is that your answer?
Oh, it's because it's the internet. It probably is me. It's Batman v Superman. I'm going to go.
The thing is, we also can't rule out that he's not being sarcastic and he genuinely feels that way about Batman v Superman because, like you said, this is the internet. So
I'm going Batman v Superman. I think it might be that. My heart is with Joker, but I think it's Batman v Superman.
Is that your final answer?
Uh-huh.
You should out with your heart. It's a joke.
Oh no! Oh.
I mean,
Yeah,
what a strange review, Ryan. But okay.
You got me. Oh, I'm never giving that the benefit of doubt.
So what we won? 2 out of 6?
Aye, so I need to get these last 4 to
Yeah, your average is slipping, Chris.
my average IQ.
Oh, that's long gone. I wouldn't worry about that.
That's 0.0 at this point. Oh,
Okay.
God.
Let's see. These are bad reviews. I don't like these reviews. I want something funny. I want something witty. I want something that is kind of obscure, but also easy enough to get. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to totally.
You don't want to get it right on the nose. Even though the ones that I got were right on the nose.
Okay, we'll go with this. So, this is either Doctor Strange, Black Widow, or Spider-Man Far From Home.
Okay.
This is a 5-star review. A good twist, a nice looking suit, and it gives good character development.
Spider-Man.
Far From Home. Right out the gate.
I don't think Doctor Strange didn't really have a new suit. Like, he didn't get a new suit. This was just his suit. Unless he's talking about he's in his doctor scrubs, which is, I guess that's the
doesn't say it's a new suit, it just says it's a good looking suit.
Oh, it's a good looking suit.
Nice looking suit. A good twist. Nice looking suit, and it gives good character development.
See, Far Away From Home, you did have the twist with Mysterio. He's not from an Elseworld. He's actually he's illusions. I think it's Spider Man.
Yay!
Yeah, there you go.
3 out of 7 is that?
3 out of 7.
Yes, it's Far From Home.
5 stars as well.
Black Widow didn't have a twist because we all knew how that was going to end since we all watched Endgame, so
exactly.
Of course it wasn't that.
I know, I was like, there can't be much twist there, she's dead.
No, we all know it's happening here, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's move on. Let's go back to our DC films.
I'm doing worse in DC than I am Marvel, actually. I think I've answered the DC one pretty well. Oh.
Okay, this is a good review. It's very to the point, which I enjoy. So this is either Birds of Prey, The Suicide Squad 2021, the most recent Suicide Squad, or Shazam. Okay. Shite, but good, all at once. Laughing face. 3.5 out of 5, 3.5 stars. Shite, but good, all at once. Laughing face.
I'm going with Suicide Squad, that one. I think it's. Oh, did you say Suicide Squad? The James Gunn one?
Yep.
I think that's the perfect depiction of it. Shite, but good. Am I wrong?
No, you're right.
Yes!
I can't believe you got that one, fair play.
I was like,
there's no chance you just get this one.
I was like, that's
perfect
description of it. Well done to that guy.
I know, I like that. It's very, very to the point, right?
Very to the point, right?
Is that 4 out of 8?
Aye.
Oh, you're on 50%. It's not 50%. Bad. It's not bad. Okay,
so better than what I usually do.
Yeah, pretty good, man. Pretty good.
Pretty good.
This is back to Marvel. This is the last Marvel one. I'm going to actually ask you a question here first.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen? Do you know who Neil Breen is?
No. Neil Breen.
Neil Breen. He makes films that aren't very good. Let's just say.
He's a director.
Yeah, he's a writer, director, actor. He's basically Tom Wiseau, but he's American. No, if you don't know him, that's what makes sense.
Does he direct his own movies and stars in them?
He does. Incredible. Honestly, watch a compilation when we're done. It was great fun.
I know the guy then. I know the ethos.
Okay. Okay. No, we'll go with another review, right? Because this is still good.
Okay.
Ready?
I'm ready.
This is the last Marvel one, right?
Mm-hmm.
I hate Marvel for making me look up. This is inverted commas. Average heart rate during sex. I hate Marvel for making me look up average heart rate during sex. 3-star review. Is that a review for Guardians of the Galaxy, The Incredible Hulk, or Ant-Man and the Wasp?
I think it might be Hulk. like just because he's talking about heart rate, that's what Hulk says. His heart rate goes up and it becomes bigger. There might be some justice to do with Guardians of the Galaxy for some weird reason. My mind went there first. What was the last one?
Ant-Man 2, Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I don't know if there's any mention of that in anything. I might have went a blank and fucking went asleep watching that with you. I'm going to go with Hulk.
Way! Well done.
I've brought it back, baby.
You've got more right than you've got wrong. So this is the last question. This is your legacy, Chris. This is the decider.
Oh wait, well nobody's done this before, so someone needs to beat me.
All or nothing at this point. And you know what? I think we're going to go a bit broader for this last one. I think we're going to go for a wider range of films here.
A wider range.
So this is either a review for Batman and Robin, starring great Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze,
and the beautiful George Clooney,
Superman Returns, directed by convicted paedophile Bryan Singer. Or
No.
or Batman Begins, the first Chris Nolan Batman
First
film.
Nolan one. Mm-hmm.
Okay. The review reads, this is a 3.5-star review. I would pay an obscene amount of money for all comic book geeks to be stuck in a locker for the rest of eternity.
Now, the word geek has triggered me to say it might be an American who's written this.
Okay.
And it might be in the mid 2000s. So every movie came out, but you mentioned came out that years.
Oh, no. Batman Robin's 97.
Oh, nice. Oh,
Batman
well,
Robin's 97, Superman Returns 2006, Batman Begins 2005.
I think because he was like, people really bombed with Batman Robin. That was the last kind of Batman film.
Mm-hmm.
And did he say shut them in closets?
I would pay an obscene amount of money for all comic book / geek culture nerds to be stuck in a locker for the rest of eternity.
And the locker references America. So I think it's Batman and Robin.
I don't know how you got that, but you got it.
Yes!
Wow.
Came back, baby.
Wow. While we're on it, just as a kind of wee victory lap for yourself, I'm just going to read some of the other reviews here. They were too specific, obviously, to read you, but they're great. So this is another review for Batman and Robin. You either die the Dark Knight, or you live long enough to see yourself become Batman and Robin.
Oh man!
The next one, your other option obviously was Batman Begins.
Uh-huh.
The review reads, Batman actually began in 1939. This is a clickbait title. Batman didn't begin in 2005.
He was a bit raging. This is not.
And the last one is a review for Superman Returns.
Mm-hmm.
I got shivers down my spine when Kevin Spacey said, "Where's the boy?"
Oh, as a filter,
We did it, Chris. Was that 6, 7 out of 10? That was pretty good, man.
I'm going to say 7 just to boost.
Okay, I think it was 6, but we'll say 7. We'll give you an extra point.
Give me an extra point just for the first one, you know. There you go.
Yes.
I challenge the rest of the podcast team.
We did the quiz. Hopefully we'll bring this quiz back along. We can find out what's there. But if anyone enjoyed listening to that, aye. There's a shout. I mean, I probably should have said this at the start, but you should play along at home and put your answers in the comments and tell us how many you got out of 10.
Exactly.
Should really say that at the start because now you can just
be clicked off.
Yeah. But that was, I think on that note, man, we'll cut it because that was good. But
that was a good one.
Well done, man.
I
applaud you for getting more.
Well done for
that was a dumb throw together for twice. But
how did you come up with the quiz? Did you just scroll through and just pick 3 random movies, or?
I stole it from the Weekly Planet. They do a thing where the host asks his co-host like, "What is this a review for?" and he gives them like multiple choice options. So just stop it. But it was fun. I put my own twist on it, slightly different there. So listen,
copyright strike.
We're struggling. Don't copyright. If you don't make any money off this as it is, so we can't give you any money, right?
We play.
Aye. So I think we'll call it a night there. But as I said, I mentioned there reviews for all sorts of films that you can find up in the comments. Stuff like my Gandalf Gaming series and other crap that we covered will be in the comments and the what do you call it? Show notes in the description. And next week, hopefully, there will be more than 2 of us. But Chrissy, thanks for joining me tonight, and no just having me sit myself because that would have been a bit sad. Really, a Sunday night, just sit myself a glass of brew, like, oh, folks, not. So,
it's more than I brew in that glass. Something else.
So, I don't know who will be on next week because I didn't even know that I was going to be on this week until today. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see if there'll start a podcast. We'll see if there'll start a topic. Who knows? But if you lasted this long, give yourself a
good
pat
up,
on the back.
You've earned it. You've joined with me. You get to enjoy a little glass of water by getting those 7 movies.
If for some weird reason you did enjoy this shit show, you can find past episodes on the channel on the podcast feed. You can find cool interviews that are being done by David Crana and Addison written interviews that will be on the website. And there is all sorts of content on bigglasgowcomicpage.com. Like reviews, interviews, news pieces, articles, opinion pieces. Batter in there, read what you want, share what you want.
Just
stuff. So cheers, all the best. See you next week.
See you soon.
I don't like doing outros, but we're doing it anyway because
Bye.
nobody else is going to do it from me. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Disassembled. You can find more news and reviews on bigglasgowcomicpage.com. And don't forget, you can also find us on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube as BGCP Comic Con. Make sure you also subscribe on your podcast provider of choice for new episodes every week.